Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody is having an awesome weekend so far. I hope you're staying healthy and strong and productive and happy. In this class, everyone, we are looking at an IELTS Task 2 writing. It is the biggest part of the writing section. It's worth 2/3 of your mark, or 66% of your mark. And this Task 2 topic will be on university marks or university grades. We'll get into the question in just a few moments. This is a members chat class, and I'm looking over at my chat here to see the members who are joining in. I see that Amrit has joined in and Bakrat's here. I'm doing okay, Amrit. I'm getting over a little bit of a nasal cold that's a bit annoying. Hi, Rashika. Welcome to the class. So lots of members joining in. That's fantastic. As usual, this class is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. Task 2 writing for the academic and for the general IELTS are very, very similar. You can basically practice for either one, and as long as you write a good, persuasive essay, you should get a good mark. It's an argumentative essay. It's a persuasive essay. The goal of Task 2 is usually to convince your reader of some ideas, explain ideas and convince them of those ideas. Welcome, Amra. Nice to see more people joining in. On our websites, you can use this code XR9T for a 25% discount. Our websites look like this. This is our academic IELTS website here. And you can click this big red Join Now button to access our premium IELTS package. It's just right above my head there. And then this is where you use the discount code that I just showed you. So you enter XR9T, hit continue, and you are off to the races. You've got that 25% discount. Same idea for the general IELTS. That's this green background here. It looks very similar, and you click that big red button there to join the premium package. So get on it. It's good learning. We've got lots of videos, practice exams, interactive courses. We've got native apps for your phone. Those native apps are Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. They link to the websites. So use these to help you get ready for the test and maximize your score. The best way to do IELTS is not to just do IELTS again and again and again, but the best way is to know that you need the IELTS, make sure you have about at least 2 to 3 months to prepare, get effective study materials. Don't just look for free materials. Find well-structured paid materials that lead you through from start to finish. If you decide not to use ours, whatever, use somebody else's, but use structured materials that are usually, you usually have to pay for them, quality materials, okay? And then go through that material over the course of the next 2-3 months, then do your IELTS exam, get a great score, and go to university or do immigration, whatever your next step is. And I highly, highly hope that you are successful in that. Okay, students, so if you have questions about IELTS, about our courses, about English, and you aren't sure, you want to send an email, this is my email right here, adrian@aehelp.com. Send me an email, and I will certainly help you out. Okay, we've got a couple more classes. So this class, some of you probably realize, it's a members chat class. We will have an all chat class coming up in about 2 hours that will continue from yesterday's speaking part 2. That class will be speaking part 3, and it will be questions about surprises or being shocked, the unexpected. So that will be coming up in about 2 hours. And then we've got a little bit of a break as usual from Sunday to Wednesday, and then I'm back on Thursday with more live classes starting from the 2nd of June. This schedule will be available on our YouTube post, so make sure you subscribe, hit that bell button, get notifications of the live classes. Doing these live classes regularly along with our premium course is a sure way to improve your English, improve your communication, improve your IELTS score. We've got some special classes coming up on Light Hall in June as well. So those are free speaking classes. Light Hall is an awesome platform for live learning, so check that out. Cynthia, welcome to our group of members. Bakrat, I see that you signed up again. That's fantastic. Happy to have you both. Just looking at the chat, seeing our new members come into the class and our old members return to the class. That's fantastic. So again, these are the live classes. I'm going to put these links into the chat so you can register for these when you have a minute. Okay, so if you've heard my spiel before, you might want to just click those links and register while we do that. And hey, really exciting news, everybody. I just released a new speaking video with a candidate from Madhya Pradesh, India, on YouTube. She does a really fantastic job of answering some questions, gives a very good mock interview sample, band 9, for people to learn from. There's some really good hard-coded subs for you, subtitles to use. That new video, everyone, is this video here. I'm going to, again, put this into the chat so you can kind of see it. So when you have some time in the day or in the next 1 or 2 days, definitely check out that video. It's just some really good learning. And the topic of part 2 in that video is restaurants. So talking about going to a restaurant, questions about restaurants, questions about newspapers and magazines. Restaurants seem to be a pretty popular question in the IELTS, so definitely a good one to practice. Okay. All right, so check out that video. We're really happy with it. We think it's a great video with lots of focused, great learning. So check that out. Okay, so let's get into task 2, writing. All right. So lots of information for you to digest there at the beginning of the class. And now into task 2. So task 2, writing. Again, it's 40 minutes of the writing section. And writing is probably the most challenging section to get a high band score. I know this from first-hand experience, having done the IELTS exam. So you really do have to practice, and you have to write at least 250 words in the 40 minutes. 250 words is the minimum. Most, I'm not going to say all, but I'll say most IELTS examiners believe that a band 8 or band 9 essay is at least 300 words. Okay. Making a good argument in just 250 words is quite challenging. Usually closer to 300, maybe even 350 words. So if you really want to get those high band scores, if you're applying for a master's degree, a doctorate degree, or if you really want that fast track visa for immigration and you want that high band score, you have to be thinking more in the 300, 350 range for the word count on task 2. Okay. Now, step 1, everyone, is read the question carefully and paraphrase it. Okay, so when you do this, this will ensure that, is it ensure or ensure? That you not only understand the question clearly, but that you stay on topic and have good ideas. Now keep this in mind, for high band writing, the paraphrasing is not necessarily your introduction, okay? If you're just paraphrasing the question for your introduction and then writing this essay we'll discuss, you're kind of writing a band 6 essay, okay? Keep that in mind. All right, so here's our question. Let's read this together. Some people believe that universities should only accept students with the highest marks, while others believe that students of all ages and ability levels should be able to attend universities. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So we've got this interesting question here where we have to talk about both and we have to talk about our opinion. So we have to make sure that that's what this essay does. Okay, you have to do that in the essay, otherwise you're not getting some good marks. So let's paraphrase this, and members, I'm hoping that you will paraphrase as well. I will be looking at your paraphrasing and comparing it to mine and giving you some feedback. Okay. Yeah, Amrit is asking a really good question. Amrit, okay. Amrit is asking the question, is it good to look at sample writing answers? Yeah, I haven't heard that question yet, Amrit, but that's a really good one, and I haven't really talked about it. That's a super great question, Amrit. It's a tricky answer. Yes and no. I'm going to tell you why yes and why no. Okay, no, because this is a really interesting one, Amrit. So no, because a lot of the sample essay questions are not accurate. Even the essay questions, question samples that you see on British Council website are a band 7. Okay, so most of the samples that you see online will get a maximum score of band 7 on the real IELTS. Okay, it's kind of a tricky one. Like a lot of essay samples online will say, oh, this is a band 8 or a band 9 essay, and it's absolutely not true. I guarantee you, I know for 100% that's most of those, I was going to say a lot, but most of those essay samples that you see online, they will only get a band 7. That's why it's dangerous to look at those, because I know a lot of students, they want to see band 8 or band 9. So band 8 and band 9 samples online are very rare. And they're difficult to find. Okay, so most of the samples are okay writing, but not good writing. Also, the other reason why it's a big no, so the yes is because you can get some good grammar and vocabulary practice with them, but the other reason why it's a big no, okay, so also these templates will not get good scores because you have to use original ideas and sentences in your writing. Okay, now the reason they're good to look at, so they are good to look at to build your vocabulary and get an idea of band 7 writing. Band 6 to 7. Many of them are actually band 6 to 7 writing. Okay. And we know this for one very funny reason. We've actually given sample writings to former IELTS examiners and said, can you please grade this essay? And they always come back with like a band 6.5 or 7 on those samples. So we know that those samples, we were very curious, like, are these actually band 8 and band 9? So we're like, okay, well, let's copy some of these, let's change a couple of words, and then let's give it to a former IELTS examiner or two and see what they say. And most of them are like, oh, this is a band 6.5 or a band 7. And then we're like, well, online, they said that this was a band 8, and they're like, oh, no, we wouldn't give a band 8 in the real exam. So there's a lot of bad information about that. That was a really good question, Amrit. Yeah, because a lot of students are tricked into thinking that they're looking at good essays when they're actually not looking at good essays. Okay, so be really careful with that. That was really good. Good question, Amrit. I liked it. That was a great provocative question for the start of the class. Okay, I'm going to stick that right after this discount code here. All right. So nicely done, Amrit. Way to kind of get people thinking. What do I do? How do I do it? Okay. Yeah, some sample answers are really confusing to read. Yeah, you got to be careful, Amrit, because some sample answers are actually horrible. Like they would get a band 4 or 5. So be really careful. Okay. All right, so Amra is like, well, let's just get going on this paraphrasing. I'm going to do the same, Amra, and then we'll look at your paraphrasing, okay? So here we go. Some people believe that universities should only accept students with the highest marks, while others believe that students of all ages and ability levels should be able to attend university. Here we go. Certain individuals ascertain that let's go with universities. Let's not paraphrase that. Let's be specific here. Universities, because it's not a college, right? It's different. Colleges would have lower admissions often. So certain individuals ascertain that universities must only admit learners with outstanding academic scores, while opponents suggest that pupils is another way to say students, pupils of all ages and skills should be granted access to university study. Okay, so there's my paraphrase. So I did this kind of, while looking at it. Okay, let's read the original. Some people believe that universities should only accept students with the highest marks, while others believe that students of all age levels should be able to attend universities. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Certain individuals ascertain is a fancy way to say believe, that universities must only admit learners with outstanding academic scores, while others suggest that pupils of all ages and skills should be granted access to university study. Write about both perspectives and your own thoughts. Okay, so yeah, looking good. Okay, that's my paraphrase there. And we've got some paraphrasing here from our members as well. Amra was kind of the first one to get it into the chat. So let's take a look, Amra, at what you have. Okay. This is Amra here. Just some quick feedback, Amra, on your paraphrasing. So some individuals claim universities should only accept young students with the highest grades. I don't think they said young, so let's take that out. Okay, we don't want to focus on that so much if we don't have to. And we don't need this comma here. While others think that every student, regardless of age and academic ability, we don't need this comma here either. Watch your comma splices. It should be given equal education opportunities. Okay, Amra, good. Now do not forget that you have to discuss both sides and give your opinion. Okay? All right, good. Cynthia says, my academic IELTS score was 5.5 without a tutor. Yes, Cynthia, structured learning for the IELTS is extremely important to get higher band scores, okay? It's very difficult to get a great band score without any proper training for the IELTS exam, because IELTS is a test of not only your English but your critical thinking as well. So you have to have a good idea of what to do. Okay, this is Bharat here. Bharat, let's take a quick look here. Okay. All right, Bharat, good effort. Let's check it out. Bharat writes, few individuals, I don't know if it said few, I would say some. Few means not a lot, Bharat, so careful with that. Some and few are not the same, okay? In fact, instead of, if you don't want to do some because it's the same, then you can do several, okay? And careful with your plurals, Bharat. Several individuals. Ascertain that universities is a common noun. No capital. Universities must only admit pupils whose score because pupils, we're talking about multiple scores, whose scores are high in their primary school, sure. Primary school, no space after that last letter. No period. While other hand opponent, awkward, while others, no other hand opponents, it's confusing. While others believe there should not be a restriction over students of higher marks. That's a bit confusing. Let's simplify that. Watch your word order, Bharat. So while others believe that there should not be age and performance restrictions, then it's nice paraphrasing if you've got that word order, okay? They should have to provide, who are they? You have what's called a dangling modifier here. You have to state it. Universities should provide admission to all ages of students with different abilities. You don't need this, Bharat, because you said that with this previous part here. Should not be age and performance restricted or restrictions, okay? So don't repeat yourself, Bharat, okay? All right. Amrit, let's take a quick gander. Amrit says, why is it doing that? Oh, because I see. I switched it to Calibri instead of Roboto. All right, let's see. So, Amrit, some individuals say that many universities should only accept, not many, it's saying all universities. It's basically just saying universities. So some individuals say that universities should only accept students. You have a missing subject there. Amrit, careful with that. That's confusing. So should only accept students with high grade score. We don't need both of those high grades. However, and here we would have a comma on the two sides of the however. However, others think that people of all ages and scores should be accepted. Okay. Discuss both use. Watch your grammar, your word use, word order, Amra. Okay. If it's confusing like that, you're going to lose a lot of band scores. All right. Okay. Rashika, let's check this out. Okay, so here we go. This is what Rashika wrote. And I see you have an amendment there, Rashika, with the GPA. We'll take a look at that as well. Okay, so Rashika writes, certain individuals ascertain that universities ought to, it's active here, the university is active, so take out the B. Enroll students who have the highest GPAs, that was your amendment there. While opponents, you don't need the comma, while opponents think that students' performance should be concerned without age limitations, think that students, not performance, careful, it's the wrong noun here, and it's plural, so students with the apostrophe after the S. So think that students' admissions should be directed without age limitations, without age or grade limitations when accepting students from universities. Okay. And then we can take out that last part to make it more concise, Rashika. Okay. Then it's a good paraphrase. All right. One more. Let's do it. I'm feeling very adamant today, so I will do all of your paraphrasings today. Look at that. All right. So here we go. This is Maul. Maul says some people believe, don't forget that E, some people believe that higher education should be reserved for those who are academically outstanding, not established. Established is, it's okay, Maul, but a little bit off. Others, on the other hand, you don't need the other hand. Others is already the opposite, so you don't have to double on that. Others see higher education should be allowed. Others feel, not see. Higher education should, it's active here, guys. Higher education is actively doing this. Should allow anyone to register who wants to continue studies at university. Okay, good. All right. And I see we have a new member just joined in. That was fantastic. Okay. All right. So now these are all correct. And now we can kind of move on with the next steps. Okay. Good writing, members. Keep that up. I'm doing the thumbs up today. I don't see Carolina in here today, which is fine. Okay, so what are we talking about here? What's the topic? That's the next step here, everyone. So we got to figure out the topic. All right, step 2. Never write an essay without knowing what you're writing about, right? And to do that, figure out the exact topic and the controlling idea. Okay. Okay, what is the topic? What are we talking about? Yeah, Bharat says university admissions. Okay, good. What's the controlling idea? Okay. So what are we discussing here? What in connection to university admissions? Okay. Yeah, good, Amrit. So Amrit says universities should accept all ages and grades or not, right? Both sides and the opinion. Okay, what is university admissions? So let's do a bit of critical thinking. We're going on to step 3. Think critically. Good planning, 3-4 minutes of good planning before you write your task 2 essay will definitely help you to get a better band score, okay? So think critically of the topic and controlling idea. Practice this at home and you can do it very fast for the IELTS. Usually these questions aren't super difficult, okay? So think critically of the topic and the controlling idea. So what is a university admission? I'm really curious what you will answer for this. So when we're registering, and I mean, a lot of you are dealing with this, right? You need to get a band 6.5 on the IELTS. You need a band 7. So what really is that admission process? How would you define that? How would you define university admission? I have a pretty clear definition if I think about it. I mean, of course, I've dealt with it so much. But I know a lot of you are also dealing with it, especially these days if you're doing the IELTS to get into a school. And as you know, some schools you have to have, you know, really high grades. Some schools, universities, you can get in with okay grades. Ken Russell says passing the entrance exam. Yeah, so Ken, that's kind of one perspective there. Try to simplify that. Amrit says enroll students in university for further education. Amrit, I think that's kind of half of it, right? Let me give you kind of an example with my hand there. Maybe you can figure out what I'm trying to show you there with that. If I show you my hands like that, I'll give you my answer. Hopefully somebody will come up with something similar. Okay. It's a filtering system, right? So it's basically designed to filter. Would everybody agree with me? University admissions is a filtering system. Yes, no, yes, yes, no, no, yes, 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 no, no, based on certain criteria, right? So based on specific expectations, right? Lots of different ways to say that. So it's a filtering system. University admissions is a filtering system. Otherwise, if you really are thinking critically about this, you might realize that otherwise you wouldn't need university admissions. You would simply just register for university. So certain events are open to everybody. Tomorrow I'm doing a 10-kilometer race. Anybody can register. There's no filtering system. You don't have to run it under 30 minutes. You can run it in 3 hours if you're really slow. You don't have to be really fit. If you're unhealthy, but you want to run it and you're taking a risk, it's okay. You can just register. There's no admission system. Well, other than the fee that you have to pay, there's a price. So that's also kind of an admission system. But other than that, there's no real criteria. Okay, so it's just simply registration. But for university, there is a filtration system, right? Okay, so now comes a very important question because this will help you decide your opinion and this will give you the information for the content, right? So why does a university have an admission system? So I think this is a very important question to ask and answer for this essay. Why? So if you think about this critically, why would a university choose to accept students only of the highest grade in classes? And now think about this as the IELTS exam. So in IELTS, you know, you're not writing a book, you're not writing a 10,000 word essay or a 10-page essay, so you have to simplify thinking, right? And I'm going to write down what I think it is, what I think the reason is, and then we can compare. I bet you we've got lots of different reasons here, but I'm going to write down my idea. Okay, this is my answer to this question. So why does a university have an admission system? So why only take students with an 85% average or a 4.5 GPA or something like that, okay? Well, I think that it's very important to promote effective learning through high-level competition and instruction. So I'm visualizing this, of course, right? And I think that in order to have very effective teaching, learning, it's important that the students in the classrooms are of similar skill levels so that they can motivate each other for competition in learning and the development of ideas. And also teachers can instruct in a much more intense kind of high level way, right? That's why you don't put beginner football players or beginner cricket players with professional cricket players because you're going to have a very awkward game and it's not going to be very entertaining, right? Okay, let's see what our members are saying. So we have, in order to maintain high standards of tertiary education. I'm sorry, I can't read the Chinese characters. Can you give me your English name or nickname or the English version of your Chinese name so I can call you by that? Okay, then I can refer to what you're writing there, okay? Because I think you have a good idea there, and I think that's the right path, okay? Reed says, because students never face problems in future related studies. Yeah, I think that's a little bit off target, Reed. I think you're in the right context, but it's not concise and not specific. Rashika says, because there are limited facilities for both physical and human resources for specific sections. Yeah, that's another reason, Amra, and I thought about that as well. And it is a good one, right? Like, you can't, if we had a million universities, then sure, everybody could go. But that's not the case, right? So that would be another answer. Absolutely, Rashika. So because there are limited resources and spaces available in universities. Yeah, absolutely, right? And I think, Rashika, one way that we can think about that is if somebody's grades are not good enough for a high-level university, they can go to another school. They can go to college or a diploma school, right? So there are schools for lower grades that are designed for that level of learning, right? Okay. Very clever. Okay. Maul, I think that you're confused with that answer. I think that would be for the next Y, to make sure that no one is left behind academically. That means that everybody can learn. Okay. All right. Oh, Hiro, there you go. Hiro, okay, I got you. All right. So, and I'm guessing you're not from China. I'm guessing you're from Japan, because Hiro is a common name from Japan. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you're from Japan. I lived in Japan for a while, so I'm familiar with those names. And it's Hito with a soft LR. Okay, Hito, got you. All right. So that is the why question. Now the how question. So how does this work? Okay, for the how, think of real life examples. Okay, well, let's say like this. University of Toronto only accepts students with GPA 4.5 or better because they only have 1,000 seats available. I'm just making this up. I'm sure they have lots more than 1,000 seats, but let's just say available each semester, and they are leading research and development university. Okay, so this would be an example, and all of this, like, if some of you are thinking, oh, Adrian, but you're wasting so much time, like, this is IELTS task 2, I only have 40 minutes, I have to start writing. Yeah, but if you think about it, all of this information that we're writing here, this actually becomes your essay. Okay, so you're not just planning here, you're actually writing your essay more or less. Okay, so when you're thinking, Adrian's spending so much time on planning, but how about writing? Well, planning is writing, you're just doing it systematically. Okay, systematically. Got you, Hiro. Okay. Amra says University of Reading only accepts students with GPA 4.0. They require an IELTS score of 6.5 minimum. Yeah, and IELTS is a really good example of scores, right, Amra? Because if people don't speak English well in university, that would be very problematic. Okay. All right. So we want the other side of this argument as well. So what is accepting people of all ages and grades? Just that. So taking in anyone who wants to study in university. So this is a little bit faster. Okay, why? This is of course, the very important question. Why should universities accept people of all ages and abilities? In order to give equal opportunity for everyone to learn a subject at the highest level, regardless of ability. Okay, and then how can we see this? Okay, and here try to apply the same example as the previous. So apply the same example as the previous how. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. So the University of Toronto accepts 1,000 new engineering students with a GPA lower than 3 into its academic curriculum. Okay, so that would be my example. All right, so by this point, your thesis should be formulating, okay? When you're writing a good essay that's band 7 or higher, you need a thesis, okay? A thesis is your argument for discussion, your statement of discussion for the essay. It comes as the last sentence of the introductory paragraph. It is direct. It states points clearly and gives the voice of the author. You must become excellent at writing good thesis statements for not only IELTS, but also for university and work. Okay, so if you're like, whatever, I just want to pass my IELTS exam, I don't care about thesis, this statement, that statement, you are sorely mistaken because it will come back to bite you. You have to know how to write a thesis statement. You have to know what a thesis statement is, not just for IELTS, but also for work in university. So if you're planning to do a professional job, if you're planning to go to university in any major, you have to be able to write a thesis statement, and you're going to be hit with that hard by your university professors as well if you don't have practice doing that. Is everybody clear on that? Okay, so thesis statement, it's not just for the IELTS, and a thesis statement like in this essay, because that is a thesis statement. Okay, so this essay will discuss both views and give my opinion. This is a very weak thesis. Okay, this is considered a middle school essay level thesis in Canada or in the US. So just to give you perspective, okay, I haven't actually said it in that way before, but that will give you a clear idea of what that is, okay? So when you write a thesis like this, essay will discuss both views and give my opinion. This is a very weak thesis statement. It's considered to be like grade 9 level. Usually a Canadian student in junior middle school that's like 12, 13, or 14 years old will write this kind of a thesis statement, okay? Even a high school student will have a more advanced level thesis statement in their essay. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, hopefully it is. All right, okay. So we need a better thesis statement. I'll show you what a high level thesis statement is, okay? And you can write your own as well, okay? So a high-level thesis statement would be something like this. All right, that's what I would do for a Band 8 or a Band 9 level thesis, and that's what a high school or university level thesis would be for this type of essay, okay? So universities filter students based on grades to promote effective learning, while not considering age and scores would promote equal opportunity. And I will put a comma there to separate those two ideas. And then it's a two-part thesis because it's also asking for your opinion. So I support the former rather than the latter because of resources and development. Okay. Now the reader is getting an idea of where I'm going with this essay. Okay. Okay, Bharat, I'm not sure what you're asking of would it be possible of having some wording thesis for different topic. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Write me an email and I'll try to give you further clarity. Okay. Okay, so now we cut into our introductory paragraph. And students, keep in mind that what I'm showing you here is a Band 9 level essay. Okay, so I'm aiming for that Band 8 to Band 9 level essay, which means a university level essay that follows the standard rules of persuasive essay writing, in this case, in the first person voice of the author. Why first person voice of the author? Because it's asking for my opinion. Okay. All right. Welcome, Ghazi. We've got lots of members in here now. Okay. So introductory paragraph. So before, a whole bunch of you jump out of the lesson and say, Adrian's a quack. This is way too hard. I'm not following this. I don't need this. This isn't Adrian. This isn't Adrian's writing. This isn't Adrian's essay writing class. This is standard essay writing. If you go to a proper English class with an English professor that's trained in literature and teaches persuasive essay writing, they're going to say the exact same information, maybe a little bit differently, a little bit paraphrased, but they will tell you the same information. Okay, so introductory paragraph should have a hook, background, and thesis. Okay, more or less 1 or 2 sentences for each. Try to keep it concise. Okay, so hook: millions of students desire to attend universities each year. That's my hook, right? It's because, why are we talking about this? Well, everybody, or a lot of people, want to go to university, and a lot of people are really frustrated when they can't get in because of scores. Okay, so my hook here simply is millions of students desire to attend. We're talking about university admission, university attendance. So my hook has this topic embedded. Okay, it's in there. So millions of students desire to attend universities each year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words. Okay, this hook has 9 words. It's concise, it's to the point, it's got the topic, right? However, not all students are accepted into higher studies due to admission or registration requirements. Okay, in this case, that's going to be all for my background. Okay, I don't need to overcomplicate this background. Simply the importance of this question, and obviously the reason why we're dealing with this question, is because not everybody gets accepted into university, right? So again, However, not all students are accepted into higher studies due to registration requirements. And so that's my background. That's why. Importance of the question, right? The background, okay? Now, all I do is take my thesis, stick it in, okay? Put it into the end here. And I am writing this with you. This is not a pre-planned essay. I'm planning it, doing it, putting it together just the same. The only difference in the real IELTS is I would be doing a lot of the planning in my head, just writing down some of the key ideas, especially for the why, and then going through this much faster. Okay? Ghazi says everyone. Not everyone, Ghazi, so be careful with superlatives. Use numbers instead. Millions of people, or millions of young adults, or millions of aspiring students. So try to stay away, Ghazi, from everyone or no one. Okay? Superlatives are generally not true. I know some people that just don't want to go to university. They feel it's a waste of time, right? So let's, especially in academic essays, Ghazi, let's stay away from those superlatives. Okay? Like everyone dreams to go to university. Okay. All right. So let's read this introduction, then we can cut right into body paragraph 1. So millions of students desire to attend universities each year. However, not all students are accepted into higher studies due to registration requirements. Universities filter students based on grades to promote effective learning, while not considering age and scores would promote equal opportunity. I support the former rather than the latter because of resources and development. Okay, body paragraph 1. Topic sentence, explanation, example, connection. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to write about body paragraph 1. Body paragraph 1 should usually be about the side that I do not support. Okay. So it would be about promoting equal opportunity. Okay. So in this case, the thesis should follow the same order, okay? And a really high band essay, a band 9 essay, you have the same order of points as what you have in your thesis statement. So I might rewrite my thesis to read, although not considering So watch what I do here to make my essay structure better. Okay. So all I've done now is I've reordered my thesis so that I have better structure in my essay, okay? Thesis and body 1, body 2, body 3 has to follow that order. So this would be my body 1. Okay. This would be my body 2. And in this case, I'm writing 3 body paragraphs for clarity. This is my body 3. Okay. Nice, short, clear, quick body paragraphs. All right. So body 1. Not firstly, because it's not a process essay. So I'm just going right into my argument. So it is true that allowing any interested individual to attend university would create fairness and satisfaction to those who did not do well in their primary school studies. Each year, millions of applicants are rejected by universities worldwide because they do not meet the minimum requirement of an 80% grade average or English proficiency standards like a 6.5 on IELTS. It is true that this has also been frustrating for me when applying to top schools like the University of Toronto, it is true that this has also been frustrating for me when rejected by when not admitted, because I used rejected up here, so I'm avoiding repetition. When not admitted by top schools like University of Toronto. Okay, so a little bit of sympathy, a little bit of empathy for the reader on the contrary argument. Okay. All right. So that's my body paragraph 1, and I feel that that kind of sentence is enough. I don't really need another connection here. I can always put connective sentences in later if I need to, but I think my example is good enough to connect as well. Let me just read this body paragraph 1, and then I'll keep going. I do see that some of you are writing your hooks. Rashika has written, university admission is a dream for every student. Rashika, same thing as Ghazi. Avoid superlatives for millions of students or for most students. Okay. Hero writes, millions of youngsters have the desire to get into university in order to satisfy their intellectual curiosity. Nice hook, Hero. I like it. Okay, and you got a bit of the background there too, Hero, with the importance of this. Okay. Okay, Amrit says, many students and teachers say not to use personal examples, but it's not true. It's not true, Amrit, not for this kind of question where it asks for your opinion. Okay, it's actually very awkward not to give a personal example when the essay is asking for your opinion. Give your opinion, okay? So, on the other hand, and here it is an opposite, you could say conversely, okay? So on the other hand, universities set standards for admission so that pupils can cover a large amount of information in their classes while motivating each other for top performance. It is true, it is a fact that universities cover more than 200 pages of academic content per week in a class, and expect pupils to learn 80% or more of the lectures. This would simply not be possible with a classroom full of diverse abilities. Okay, the University of Toronto Engineering Department demands first-year learners to cover 3 chapters in a book in a week in each class. Okay. So just kind of giving an idea to the reader of why this is now my personal opinion. Therefore, I do believe that universities are not able to admit the millions of potential or millions of students who wish to attend simply because there are not enough spaces and teachers for such a large student body. As well, admitting all ages and abilities would slow down the progress and effectiveness or efficiency, would slow down the efficiency of learning. I'm always looking to be concise, the efficiency of learning. Okay. All right. I read that the University of Toronto, and here's where I use my example from my planning, admits a maximum 1,000 students into its engineering department each year. Okay, and so there are my 3 body paragraphs. Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and body paragraph 3. By the way, students, I am showing you that I'm writing this essay in less than 40 minutes now that all the planning is done. Okay. And if you're doing the computer-based exam, of course, it's very important to touch type. So now I have my conclusion, and in the conclusion, I need to restate my points, confirm my argument, and give a take-home message. Okay, that's what a good conclusion will have. Okay, so in conclusion, university entrance is controlled or is based on grades to enable effective learning while staying competitive. These institutions I do believe that these institutions must maintain such procedures to have integrity and to have enough space. And then here, I need my take-home message, okay? The purpose of university is to promote the development of society, and this can only be done by pushing the brightest young minds of society to their limits. Okay, so that is my full essay. Now I'm going to go back and read this from the beginning. First, I'm going to reread the question. When you're practicing at home, it's really important to reread the question and then read the essay again to make sure that it makes sense, okay? Keep in mind, students, Band 7, Band 8, Band 9 essays, content is king. So you have to have good content. You can still make mistakes. You can make mistakes with grammar. You can make some word choice mistakes. You can make some spelling mistakes. It's not the end of the world. But for those really high band scores like Band 7, Band 8, Band 9, content is king. The information you give is very important. You can't just give any old information, okay? Here we go. So spend 40 minutes on this task. Some people believe that universities should only accept students with the highest marks, while others believe that students of all ages and ability levels should be able to attend universities. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Okay, here we go. So millions of students desire to attend universities each year. However, not all students are accepted into higher studies due to registration requirements. Although not considering age and scores would promote equal opportunities, universities filter students based on grades to promote effective learning. I support the rather than the former because of resources and development. It is true that allowing any interested individual to attend university would create fairness and satisfaction to those who did not do well in their primary school studies. Each year, millions of applicants are rejected by universities worldwide because they do not meet the minimum requirement of an 80% grade average or English proficiency standards like a 6.5 on IELTS. It is true that this has also been frustrating for me when not admitted by top schools like the University of Toronto. On the other hand, universities set standards for admission so that pupils can cover a large amount of information in their classes while motivating each other for top performance. It is a fact that universities cover more than 200 pages of academic content per week in a class and expect pupils to learn and apply 80% or more of lectures. This would simply not be possible with a classroom full of diverse abilities. The University of Toronto Engineering Department demands first-year learners to cover 3 chapters in a week in each class. Therefore, I do believe that universities are not able to admit the millions of students who wish to attend, simply because there are not enough spaces and teachers for a large student body. As well, admitting all ages and abilities would slow down the efficiency of learning. I read that the University of Toronto admits a maximum of 1,000 students into its engineering department each year. In conclusion, university entrance is based on grades to enable effective learning while staying competitive. I do support that these institutions must maintain such procedures to have integrity and to have enough space. The purpose of university is to promote the development of society, and this can only be done by pushing the brightest young minds of society to their limits. Okay, so that would definitely be a Band-Aid to a Band 9 essay, everyone, and that is kind of how you go through it step by step, okay? Now, of course, in the real IELTS exam, you do this with practice, and you do the planning nice and quick in about the first 4 or 5 minutes, and then in the next 32 minutes, you put it all together, and in the last 2-3 minutes, you reread, you make these small corrections like what I just did to commas, spelling, punctuation, some word order, and then you'll have a great essay, okay? All right, so that is task 2 in one class, okay? That's how it's done. And we did it in 1 hour and 17 minutes, which is roughly twice the time limit that you get, but that's with a lot of explanation and feedback, okay? All right. Rashika writes, it is essential to have a university degree for a person. However, this opportunity is not received. Okay, Rashika, let me correct that. As I said, members, I'm always looking at the chat for your writing. This is Rashika, and this is your introduction, Rashika. I can see that. Okay. By the way, students, when you have good introduction, good thesis, background, topic, sentence, it's very clear for a professional like myself or an English teacher to identify what part of the essay you are actually writing. Okay. All right. So it is essential to have a university degree for a person to be successful or financially successful. Not always, but in many cases. Yeah, absolutely, Rashika. However, this opportunity is not, instead of does, is not received. This is passive, Rashika, because it is received by the person. So, however, this opportunity is not received by all students because of requirements. You don't need the sum score, okay, because of requirements. So be concise. Okay, that's the other element that you're always wanting to work on. Okay, requirements. All right. Okay, and I don't really see any more writing. You were probably paying attention to my writing and understanding it. I get it. It's very challenging to pay attention to what I'm doing and focus on your own writing at the same time. But I strongly encourage you to do so. And students on the websites, don't forget, in your My Student account, you do have this these editing services here, the task 1, task 2. So you can click on that, and then Rashika, for example, you could take this sentence here And then, let's see. Especially for your introduction, you might want to do this because you want to have a clean, strong introduction. So you can put it in on the website, and then you can say, okay, I want to get this checked. So you submit it, and then it will say, okay, that's going to cost you $1.68 to learn your mistakes and learn the correct sentence. And then you can send that to us for correction. You can send any amount of work to us for correction. Use that word processor in your My Student account to do that. Okay, all right. So that's how you can do that. Ghazi, I saw that sentence there. I'm not sure why you pulled it back, but that's fine. And again, to get all of our videos and everything, click that big red Join Now button on Academic IELTS, and for General IELTS, click the button right here. Okay, that one, it's gieltshelp.com. We've got tons of videos, practice exams, native apps for you to improve for your next test. Students, that's it for this class, but I will be back in about 30 minutes with speaking part 3. And if you want to just keep studying, you can check out our newest speaking video. I'll put that into the chat. It's right there. It's a 20-minute video. So while I set up for the next class, you can check out that video. It's a great video, lots of learning, and that will warm up your speaking for the speaking class as well. Again, check out our websites, ahelp.com. For academic IELTS, and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Again, use that code XR9T for the 25% discount on the website. Okay. You're very welcome, Amrit. You're very welcome, Ken. Welcome to our new members. Hero, great to have you with us. Again, students, take a short break, stretch those legs, watch that video, come back, join me for speaking part 3. That's coming up in about 30 minutes. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now, but I will be back shortly. Much love to all of you, even until that time. Bye.